Good, we are all set. Yes, in the last session we discussed about this script, isn't it? So we have used score1.csv and score2.csv, and also we discussed about how to slice the data, how to do typecasting from one data type to another data type, and also we discussed about factor variable, and also we discussed about how to drop a column from the data frame using null, right? By assigning null to a variable we can drop it. And today we will continue with the other thing, right? So we will continue with the dplyr package. So what is dplyr package? Dplyr is one of the important or popular package that is available in R. Okay, so this dplyr package, they developed it to work directly with the data frames. And with the dplyr, if you perform any kind of data slicing or subsetting the data, or using SQL like queries, the performance will be much faster. That is also the reason why dplyr package became very popular. Those people especially are familiar with SQL query, they can work with dplyr without any. Oh, okay, sorry. Right, those are familiar with SQL queries, writing SQL queries. They can work comfortably with the dplyr package. You can do SQL like join operations using dplyr, and also you can use the verbs like dplyr verbs like select, filter, mutate, group by, and summarize, right? Using which you can we can do any kind of data manipulation or data aggregation, or if you want to perform any kind of data slicing or subsetting, right? You can do it with dplyr with much ease, and also the performance is much faster compared to the traditional the base or functions. Okay, now let us start with one data set. I'll use the traditional. Typically I use this one, the marketing data set. We will start with this, and then we will proceed with some other data set also. Okay, some other case studies will work on it to perform the analytics. Okay, first what we will do is, as usual, rm list ls equal to clean up the memory, and then import all the necessary libraries. We have something called DT, data table. This is all, I'll show you what this one is all about. And we have something called ggplot, ggplot2. In Python also the ggplot2 is available, but Python most of the time, most of the developers, they use matplotlib and cbon only. But in R also a lot of data visualization packages are available, but in R ggplot is very popular. Like dplyr has some grammar, even ggplot also has some grammar. Okay, so very easy to remember. Okay, so you don't have to write extensive or extensive scripting in order to plot the data. All you need to just follow the grammar, just pass the relevant arguments to those components of your ggplot, so that you can render awesome charts. Retail marketing, I guess, retail marketing 29 June .csv. So these are the data set. This data set already we discussed, marketing data set. That's the reason I am starting with, because I have another case study with the loan data. Okay, it has a lot of columns in it. but certain most of the columns it are more domain specific columns, difficult to understand, but anyhow probably tomorrow or next week, and tomorrow probably we'll work on that. Okay, so next one is what we will do is we will use histogram hist function to check the distribution of amount spent. So this is the amount spent distribution. The next one is what we will do is we will convert all these things. Okay, the married, gender, all the things will convert into factor variable, because those the gender and other columns, right, those are all categorical variable. And then we have another column called MKT dollar close. The close is nothing but how close the customers are living to the retail shop. So this is part of data pre-processing. This is called a data pre-processing. As part of we do this is one of the tasks that we do it. The next one is what we will do is we'll try to explore the data. And here, for example, if I want to view those customers less than 30, their salary and number of kids, MKT, usually what we do is MKT salary, age, right, age is greater than 30, those people, those customers over age 30, and what is their salary and how many children do they have. Sorry, here it is dollar, right? The column name supposed to be prefixed by dollar, MKT dollar. So here I don't want to see everything, I just want to see first top 6 records. So children, those people over 30, how many kids have? These people, some customers, they have one kid, and those do not have kid, what is their salary, we can say it. This guy's salary is much higher compared to others, right? That's what we can say. This is the one we use it typically, right? This is called base OR function, MKT square bracket. We use square bracket to take the subset of the data based on some condition. For this condition, select the data from these two columns only. Right? This is a Boolean expression. The first one is Boolean expression, comma the columns. Okay, and the outside is you need to specify MKT. This is the syntax we followed. MKT, the data frame name, square bracket, the data frame, again which column you need to subset, right? You need to filter it, you need to specify that. For that you need to prefix with the data frame name and the dollar. Okay, the age supposed to be, the column name supposed to be prefixed by the data frame and dollar. This is the one we used it even in pandas we used to do, right? Somewhat similarly we used to do this, and we used to select the data like this. But when it comes to the dplyr, right, all you need to just use select is one of the verb that is available. mkt, what is the data frame? The first argument is supposed to be a data frame, and your next argument is this one. Directly you can give the column name, okay, or you can specify the range of the column name, but to matching to this one, right? So age is greater than 30. Okay, what we can do is here we can specify the column name. Okay, the column name something like this. No, here yeah, we'll give it, let us give it a try. Usually, yeah, so this condition, right, we use it in filter condition. Sorry, here what we do is comma, we don't have to give the C and all. Simple, very simple one. Just if I wanted to select, right, the column, select verb, it says whatever the columns that you need to select it, you need to list down those column names. But who knows, in your existing script window you might be using more than one data frame. In this case we are using only one data frame, mkt. If you are using more than one data frame, then your select function should not get confused. You need to specify the data frame, the first argument is supposed to be data frame, from which data frame you want to select the column. Okay, and the next one is I don't want to select all the values. Instead I want to use something called filter. Age is greater than 30, but here you need to specify the data frame name, from which data frame you want to filter it. You need to specify this one. Okay, you can do it like this way. So now we have something else called pipe operator. Okay, we have something called pipe or chaining. Okay, pipe or chaining is available. So those of you worked with the shell command, Unix shell command, then you should be knowing it. Anyhow, don't worry, I'll explain you what this pipe is all about. Pipes, we are going to talk about something like pipes. In this case, I've used a select command, select function to select the to list out the column name which I want to view it. But if I wanted to filter the data based on some condition, I can use filter. Okay, what if I wanted to if I wanted to select children and salary based on this condition? I want to combine these two things. How can I do that? How can I do that? In traditional programming, how we do it? For example, in the first step, I am selecting children and salary. In the second step, I am using the filter condition. The third steps, if I wanted to combine these two things, I'll have to use the temporary data frame. I'll have to use a temporary storage or temporary variable and use that temporary variable as an input to the next function. So this can clutter up our workspace, right? Because you have temporary variable, you have select, filter, right? So a lot of it will clutter up your. So or else you can write function, nested function, one function inside another function, right? But again, it is not that good, right? But writing nested function is handy, but it is difficult to read if you have too many functions or nested, right? So it is not that much helpful. The other option is we have something called pipes. Pipes or pipes is the one used that will help us to pass the output of one function and send it directly to the next output. Okay, that is what pipes. For example, here if I want to tie these two, what I have to do is I'm going to specify the data frame name first. Once I specify this, it is more than sufficient. The next line I'm going to specify percentage greater than percentage. This percentage greater than percentage is nothing but pipe. right? It'll let us to take the output of this one, right? Take the output of this one and send it directly to the next one, the subsequent one. Right? This is very much useful when you need to do many things in the same data set. Okay, that is where that's where the pipes are very much helpful. The next step is, see here I'm able to tie these two things into a single one filter. All I have to just give age is greater than 30. That's it. That's all. Okay, and here percentage greater than percentage row row number. Okay, here you have we can see the help here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to limit with something like this, row number 5. Just hanging. I don't know why it is hanging. 1 second, let me just see. Unused organ. Okay, what we will do is, instead of that, I want to view top end something here. Top, sorry, percentage. Top 5 salary. Okay, so top 5 records from this data set we can say. But if you look at here 0 0, those do not have kids. If you look at that record, that data set, right, so it is 12 and 12 8 and 13, right? It is in ascending order. And one, if you look at it, one, those have one and this one, and those have 3 kids, their salary is this one. Okay, so using top n function also we can find out this one. And other options are like something like, instead of doing this way also, I'll just show you this one. Filter. This is another way of querying it. Okay, fine. This is how we can tie using this pipe operation. Pipe is help us to tie more than one grammar. Select and filter and arrange. We have something arrange function, and we have group by, right? Group by and summarize. Likewise, many functions are available. You can combine all those things into a single thing. Okay, so what we will do is, now let us take a look at the structure of the data set once again. The data frame. Okay, the data frame is previous customer and customer ID and age, gender, own home, everything is there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some kind of the descriptive statistics. Okay, what I'm going to do is use something called summarize function. Okay, summarize. It is already available. For example, average salary. You can give your own name, your variable name. Okay, you can give a custom name for your variable, but this is your original column name. And then next one is minimum salary, is equal to min. Similarly, you can use max salary, and finally I'm going to use something else called total is equal to n function. There is a function called summarize, like select and filter. There is something called summarize is available. So similarly, you can put maximum, minimum, maximum, mean, even standard deviation also. You can SD function is available, using which you can do it. Okay, and this is how you can perform aggregation. This is called your aggregation. Okay, you can do aggregation. You can do aggregation with this one also. What is that? The group by. Okay, for example, you want to do some kind of group by based on children. You want to see the based on the children, right? Let me do one thing. I'm going to use select. Using select, you can restrict the number of columns. If you don't use select, right, all the data will be available. Okay, but ideally you can use select here. But if you are script or if you want to perform multiple analysis, right, better you can upload it. Once you upload it like this, right, it will be available. All the columns will be available in the memory. Okay, but ideally if you use the column name in the select list, it will be good. And I'm going to do group by. You don't have to worry about the syntax, everything. It automatically gives us children. Even if you type it wrongly also, it is doing good job. Slowly we are increasing this one, right? The complexity. Select statement. You can also introduce filter in between this one. Select and group by. In between you can specify the filter condition. Average salary, and this is your average salary, minimum salary. What is n function? It gives you the total number of records. How many number of records are there in the 0 category? How many number of customers do not have kids? 124 customers, they do not have kids. 61 customers, they have 1 kid, and 28 customers, they have 3 kids. And what is their average salary? But when you look at all these things, we could see those parents do not have kid, their average salary is higher. The next one is as the number of kids increase, but the next one is those have sorry. When you look at all these things, right, those have 3 kids in this given data set. Those have 3 kids, their average salary is high. The next one is those have 2 kids. It is in the opposite way, right? This pattern is quite interesting. Though the number of records are less here, look here number of customers are more, right? Maybe this one is taking into account of the unmarried people also, right? So for that, what you do is to verify that you use filter here. Yeah, 1 is married, so instead what we will do, we will specify 1 here. 0 is unmarried, single. Okay, married, str of mkd dollar married. It is an integer only, right? Yeah, it's integer only. Is equivalent to 1. What am I getting it? No applicable method group by apply to not be to see integer. Oh, for integer we cannot. Oh, sorry, here I did not put percentage greater than percentage. That's what you should be a bit careful here. Otherwise it will confuse you. This is the one. Now let us compare these two output. But every statement has to be you need to mention the pipe thing notation here. Percentage greater than percentage. Now if you look at here, it gives us a much better understanding. Here 0 means they are married people do not have kids. Their average income is 68,000, but still these people are outnumbering when it comes to the average salary. Those have higher kids, their salary is very high, average salary is high. Okay, the next step is, what we will do is the n function. We understood n function. Now what we will do is we will try to use ggplot visualization. Okay, we have imported the library called ggplot2. Okay, and with now let us see, let me see if yeah, good. So I'm going to use ggplot2 to plot this thing. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to some temporary thing. This is for AVG salary, right? Married people or resell. So this output I'm going to assign it to a variable called MAR married. Okay, what I'll do is I'll married or resell. Okay, I'll just assign it to this output. I'm going to say this output I'm assigning to a temporary variable. It is kind of a data frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm using ggplot. Now I'm going to use this thing. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I'll copy paste. This is my first argument. My first argument is supposed to be data frame name. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify another component. The first component of ggplot. Ggplot stands for grammar of graphics. Grammar of graphics. Okay, please remember this. Grammar of graphics. Okay. The beauty of this one is you'll have to pass 4 components here. Importantly, that's the mandatory components. Okay, the first one is the data frame name, from which data you wanted to plot the chart. Okay, and the next one is AES. AES stands for aesthetics. Aesthetics is beauty, right? Aesthetics. In the case of aesthetics, I'm going to specify x-axis and y-axis. Here I have to specify x-axis and y-axis. Okay, and here I'm going to specify children. The x-axis is children, the column name is children, and my y-axis is going to be I'm going to say just total. Okay, total is there, right? Total number of customers. Okay, total number of customers. Here what I'm going to do is, here I put a plus sign here. If I wanted to continue to the next line, remember ggplot by you need to, in the case of ggplot function, you need to specify 1, 2 or 3 components mandatorily. Okay, you need to specify 3 components mandatorily. The first component is the data frame name. The second component name is the x-axis and y-axis. As part of aesthetics function, you can specify it. And I'm going to continue this in the next line, hence I'm going to put plus here. Okay, plus here. And the next line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify the next component. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me finish up this one. Plot. I'm going to close this one. Total. Yeah, this one got closed. I'm going to continue the next line for the ggplot. Okay, for the next component is geom title. Sorry, the geom, the type of the chart I need to specify bar chart or area chart or line chart, box plot. What do you want to do it? So let's say I want to use bar plot. Okay, bar plot. Here I am going to use bar plot. Okay, simple. First component is the data frame, second component the x-axis and y-axis, and you are defining it, and the third component is the type of the chart. Okay, but here a lot of options are available. Yes, you need to specify start count here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use tile function. Tile is nothing but geom tile. Yeah, this is nothing but the tree map, something like that. It will come like this. Okay, tree map. So this is the one. So by looking at this, in the y-axis we plotted total, and the x-axis children. So average salary, when I see the average salary, those, oh my god, what happened here? So the total, those have zero quits. It shows something different, right? Or did I not concentrate? Those have average salary, right? 66, 0 1 2 3, 0 1 2 3. Okay, minimum salary, maximum salary, average salary, right? Okay, here I mentioned about total. Sorry, yeah, I mentioned the total number of records, the number of customers. Here close to 60, let's say 65 customers, they do not have kids, and one customer, sorry, the customers have only one kid. Customers do not have kid, we have this many number of customers have only one kid, we have this many number of customers. But when we look at the average salary, supposing instead of in the total, especially the average salary, let us see what is happening. AVG salary, right? I just select it and then I'll just paste it here. So here with this we are going to conclude number of customers doesn't matter when it comes to salary. I'll remove this one, sorry, salary or salary. You're not supposed to go by the head count. What about our session about it? Yeah. I have to execute this one. Need not to execute everything. Married equal to 1. Okay. Okay, I did this one. Something wrong. Earlier married was there. strmkt, right? So strmkt, married is still the factor. Okay, factor. Okay, as dot. It is already factor, right? Yeah. Or let me do one thing. For the time being, I'll just leave it as it is, as dot number. Yeah. So this is the one, and I'm going to use married object, married not found. So what is this? What happened here? This one is working fine. Okay, and why this guy is not available here? Married equal to 1. Okay, for the time being, let us, I'll show you later. Okay, and here, fine. Now I'm going to use this ggplot. The first component is this one. This is the one having the output of the right side of SCORI, right? This entire thing output got stored here. This one. Okay, these 4 columns output got stored here. Next I'm going to use ggplot. The first component is this one, and children average salary and GM title. This is what we are interested, right? So let us see what happens here. Though the number of customers were more, though the customers do not have kids, right? The number of customers do not have kids. The number of records are high, but the average spend is less. But when you look at here, those have average salary, not spend, average salary, okay? But when you look at the customers, those have more kids, their average salary is more. The next one is, obviously we think those customers have higher average salary, their spend is also more, right? So the next one is, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to see, so here, one second. Amount spent is already there, right? Okay, I don't have to do this one again. Good. So here, amount spent. Now I'm going to execute this one because I included a new measure. We call a measure, okay, the summarized value, amount spent. So here I'm going to spend, look at average spend, AVG spend. It is quite opposite. The average salary is very high for customers those have more kids, but the spend, when I look at it, those have higher average salary, their spend is less. Very interesting insight, right? So using ggplot, you can plot the chart in a very easier way, because it's very easy to remember. The first one is data frame, second one is aesthetics. You have to specify x and y axis, and then next one is geom tile. The geom is nothing but geometric object. Geom stands for geometric chart. Which chart you wanted to plot it, right? That one we will see the box plot also. We'll see box plot and then some other sort also, and plus we have something called scale fill manual. Okay, we have something, for example, in addition to that, for example, if you want to do some kind of additional from the aesthetic point of view, I'm not talking about the aesthetic function, I'm talking about the English aesthetics. If you want to do some kind of beautification, okay, value is equal to, you can specify the red or green, all small letter, I think, yeah, green and blue and red, using which we can specify what color that can be used here. It is not coming out clearly here. Yeah, but anyhow, we will work on scale fill manual also a little later. So now you understand the purpose of ggplot, how to use ggplot. There are 4 components. One is data frame, aesthetics, and then the type of the chart. The scale fill manual, you can specify the kind of color or font, everything. Okay, I have another case study. Okay, I will, when I work on that, I will show you, okay, what are the options that are available as part of scale fill and all. Okay, and here the next thing what we will do is, previous spent, all these things are there, right? Okay, good. So next what we will do is yeah, we have something called fill option. How many of you remember the fill option that I mentioned in Python? I still remember you know the Seaborn package, SNS in Python, to plot the additional dimension, the third dimension. We can specify x and y axis in any kind of chart function, but if you want to specify the additional component, the third dimension, we use something called hue. I don't know how many of you remember hue, right? Hue is equal to, instead of hue we use something called fill here. In the case of fill, what we can do is, right, here we can specify married or something like that. Married, something like that. Married not found. Yeah, this is one problem I'm getting, because you know the reason why I was getting that error. No one was able to look here in the select function. I did not use the column married. I did not select it. Whatever the column that you selected, that one supposed to be, that is the one you can use it in the subsequent statement. Either you don't specify select statement. If you specify the select statement, you need to make sure that whatever the columns that you are going to use it in the subsequent line, that column is supposed to be available here in the select list. Okay, yeah, that is the reason why I was getting that error. Right, good. See, now we are not getting that error. And fill equal to married. Yeah, now we can use it here. There is nothing, it's nothing got to do with this one. What is that? The object married not found. Okay, 1 second. It is there already married. 1 second. Okay, here what, since I'm using summary, right? Summary, whatever thing is there, it is coming here. That is one problem with this one. But anyhow, whenever you use group by, right, whatever the group by related functions that you use it, right, only that one will be available. So here, even if I don't specify this one, 1 second. Okay, what I'm going to do is group by, here I'm going to use married. Now in your output, the married will be there, right? So children married, yeah, and this is the aggregated one. Rishik, don't worry, I'll explain later, okay? Because you are completely new onto SQL. I'll explain it later. Mod, average, and this is the one. Fine. Now we are done with this one. But the color is not coming out. Don't worry. We have some other option. I'll show you later, because if I explain more, you will get confused at this one. At this one, you just try to understand how to plot the data at a basic level. That is more than sufficient. Next, we have another case study. In that, I will show you, how to plot, color thing, everything. Okay, fine. So this is how. Look here. Here, I did not use select at all. Either you don't use select function. But if you use select function, make sure that whatever the columns that you are using it in the subsequent line, those columns got listed in your select list. Okay, so in this case, yes, I did not use select. That means all the columns in this data frame, or the entire data frame, entire data from the MKT will be available for this one. This one will be applied on the output of this one. See, the MKT data frame data will be passed as an input to this one. So this one will filter based on this condition. Okay, those married people data alone, it will keep it here. The next step is based on the children and married. Okay, married people, many married people will be there, right? So one means married, and children, the combination of these two, you aggregate it, right? Let's say, 2 person, right? One person name is A and person name B. Person A also have 0 children, has 0 children, is also married. Person B also has no children and is a married person. So when you use group by, what it does, it removes the duplicate, it consolidates, right? All the married, it's because you are using average, right? Average within this group. Okay, zero. Rishik, for you only I'm explaining it. Okay, instead of having duplicate records, remove the duplicate, because all we are doing consolidation. We summarize, we take average only, right? When we do aggregation, we use group by in general. Okay, so with this we can see that. Now when I plotted, now what we will do is fill. Now let's go back to fill. Here it is there, right? Okay, let me execute this one. I was talking about fill. That is when we got stuck. Look here, right? So it shows 1 and 0. It is not that clear, right? So when ideally it should show correctly the colors and all. And let me just give it a try. I don't know why. Discrete scale. Okay, I have some LPs there in other file. I will, with that help, I can show you. Okay, so now we have something called data table. I just copy paste this here. Instead of viewing the console like this, right, you can have something like this, viewer. So that is the purpose they have something called viewer in the RStudio. On the right bottom, apart from plots by viewer, in the viewer you can view the data table. It is something like this, right? So one of 4 entries. If you have multiple entries, click next, right? Show 10 entries, like in the Google search page. How many number of pages that you want to see it in the page? There's something you can do it, right? So some table you can see. You have some option called search, right? Using data table. This data table is available as part of the package called DT. You remember in the top I imported a package by the name of DT, right? Capital D and capital T, right? DT. So using that package, you have something called data table function is available. Okay, this is another function which you can use it to view the data, something like this. And I discussed about all these things, right? Select, group by, summarize, and filter, and what else we can see it. Yeah, what we will do is we have something called mutate everything. This is a very simple one. Okay, let us not confuse with so many things. Okay, I'm going to save this one. I will share it to you. Start with this simple one. Okay, I just saved it. Okay, so the next one is we will work on some other data set. It is kind of we'll try to do a lot of analysis using that one. Oh, we did not discuss about mutate here, right? Mutate is pending here. Okay, let me do one thing. Here itself we'll talk about the mutate. And arrange also will finish it up. Okay, arrange and arrange also. We have something called arrange. Arrange is to sort the data in ascending order or descending order. You can use arrange function. Okay, for example, let's take this one. Is this in ascending order or descending order? Rishik. If I wanted to have it in descending order, you need to specify DSC here. I think here you need to specify DSC. Instead of selecting this one, right, let me just select it directly here. Function cannot arrange column of class function at position 2. Okay, here I think I need to use minus here. Yeah, negative here. Look here, so 384 comes first, 374, right? Descending order. If you want a descending order, if you want to query it in the descending order, use negative sign. And but if you don't specify any sign, by default it is ascending order. Now the question is, let's say I have something else called married and okay, married people, right? So here let me just knock off this one. I want both married and unmarried, okay, and but here we don't, we have 0 and 1, right? Yeah, you can get 0. Look here married, how come it shows married 2 and all, 1 and 2 is there? Okay, 1 second, let me just let me start with more confusions. 1 and 2 is there. Okay, earlier it was, I converted it as integer, all the confusions, right? That is the reason why it got changed. Okay, now you just think one is married, unmarried. Yeah, unmarried single is 1 and 2 is married. Okay, 2 is married. Just think that way. And here, okay, arrange, right? Or else let's take the instead of confusion, right? I still remember it. I don't know if you, so look here, 3 2 1 0 2 3 1 is the right. So is there any way if I can do it? Children here. Again, I want to arrange it something like this. Okay, within the children, arrange the children in ascending order. And within this, you do some kind of descending order. Listen very carefully. Here, what has happened? Are you all able to understand? Importantly, Rishik, are you concentrating here? So here, what has happened here? Look here, in the arrange function, arrange is nothing but sort. Since children is positive 1, right? I did not specify any negative value prior to, just before this children. I did not prefix this one with negative value. Hence, it is an ascending order. Supposing your management asks you to print the children column in ascending order, 0, 1, 2, 3. Arrange, first is children. But within those children, right, you need to sort the salary in, average salary in descending order. Look at here, 2 1s are there, right? 2 1s are there. So this customer, see, the 2 is married customer, and those have 1 kid. Married people, they have one kid, and unmarried people, they have 1 kid. Even unmarried, they have 1 kid. Okay, so kind of living together. Okay, so this one within this children 1 1, right? Married 2 1, but these two are different, right? Okay, what is the other example? 1 1. Can you see 1 2? We don't have any more 1 2, right? Okay, fine. But anyhow, 0 1 2 3. But we have done a grouping in children and married. But if you look at within these children, within the children 1 1, the value got sorted in descending order. How many of you are working in business intelligence or data analytics? You should be knowing it, right? They'll ask you to generate. And 2 2, if you look at it, these 2 records, we could see, these 2 records, we could see 2 customers, but 2 kids. This person is a married person, hence it is showing 2. Okay, this, see, 2 is nothing but married person, 1 is unmarried. Married person, those have 2 kids. Unmarried person, those have 2 kids. Okay? But start with 2 because we are doing arrange in children only, not along with married. Okay, so within this 2, start the salary in descending order. You need to look at this one only. Don't get confused with group by. You need to look at this one only. Children or this one. So you can see like this, right? Within this 2 children, it is in descending order, right? So 0 0 within this 0 descending order. This is how you can specify it. Okay. Arrange, and next we have something else called the next one is mutate. We have something called mutate function. So what is mutate? Why do I need to use mutate? You want to create a new columns based on the existing columns, based on the other existing kind of derived variable. I'm deriving a new variable based on the existing columns, right? For that, most of the time in the real time world, right, and the real time scenarios, what we do is we need to have the derived features because of some reporting requirement, or for machine learning purpose we'll create some additional variables. Okay, so here I'm going to create something called mutate. Mutate function. Okay, here what I'm going to do is salary to spend ratio, right? Listen, spend ratio, something like spend or income to spend ratio is equal to let's say salary divided by this some formula into 100. Now this variable is called your derived variable because you are using the existing column salary, and also you are using the existing column amount spent. You are dividing, when you divide salary by amount spent and into 100, if you do it, you will get the income to spend ratio. But without forgetting it, without ignoring this, you need to specify this one. Okay, the pipe operator. Now we will see what is happening when I execute this one. Income to spend ratio is not coming here. Okay, let me do one thing here. Set options. Children, yes, children married, average salary total. Okay, and here income to spend ratio is not coming. Why is that? Okay, what I am going to, since I am using summary, it is not coming here. Okay, what I am going to do is I am going to use another array, right? Average spend ratio, something like that. Mutate, or else we will do one thing to show you how this one works, right? I'll just take this one. Sorry, mutate is a function, right? Yeah, here I did not put the outer. It's correct only, right? Yeah. See, the income to spend ratio became part of your data frame. It became part of your data frame. Now let us see, right, how can we include, because here this one is 100. not seen come to spend ratio. Okay, something else is happening here. I'm taking, oh, sorry, mean. I cannot say summarize, right? Inside summary, supposed to say either minimum, maximum, something like that, okay? Without that, you cannot specify, otherwise it will get confused. Look here. You understood, right? Now it is working fine. Average spend ratio. The average spend ratio was not there earlier in my data set itself. Okay. So, but here also kind of it's a derived variable only. Average salary, average spend ratio. Sorry, average salary, right? You are taking the mean of this salary and you are assigning to this one. And then n function is available as part of a dplyr. The n function tells you, how many number of customers are there. In total, 62 married customers, especially those do not have kid, right? And here 62, another 62 customers are unmarried, and they do not, unmarried people obviously they don't have kids, right? We think that way. But when it comes to here, 28 customers are married and they have one kid. This gives you how many number of customers. N function gives you number of records, and mutate